my friends. Welcome back for more Final Fantasy XI. The day has finally come. FF11 has turned 20 years old today. What an incredible milestone. A huge congratulations to Square Enix and all the people that have been working on this project over the years. But more importantly, a huge thanks to all of you. Every one of you adventurers, whether you're currently playing, whether you come and go, whether you played the game at some point and don't play anymore, maybe you're thinking of coming back, maybe you hung up your adventurer's cap for good. Whatever the case may be, every single one of you has helped to contribute to the success of Final Fantasy XI and the ongoing longevity of Vana'diel, our home, our world, our happy place. A hearty /psych for all of you. So what we're going to do in this video, I have yet to try this Mandragora Mania event that's happened, celebrating the 20th anniversary. So we're going to talk to the Moogle and get that started. And while we go through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about Vana'diel, my experience with FF11, what Vana'diel means to me. And I've really been loving everybody's testimonials that have been coming out about, looking back, where they started, where they are now. And I want to share some of my story. Okay, so we've talked to the Moogle. He said to go talk to Chacharoon. Can I click on this treasure chest? You see the following words scrawled upon the lid. Free to take. Well, that practically sounds like an invitation. Will you take something? Dinner jacket. Dinner hose. Vana'diel coat, Vana'diel hose. It looks like some of these are gender specific too. These like all free to take, or can I only take one? Ooh, a Chocobo shield. A Moogle guard, Chocobo shield +1. Dispense Sakura biscuits. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Cipher of Moogle, Fablinix, so these are all people that I have. So I've shared a little bit of my story with FF11 throughout the series and some of our event episodes, but I think for the purpose of this video, I'm going to start from the beginning while trying to multitask and play this game. So I started playing FF11 back in 2005 when FF11 first got announced, and there was the whole notion of, hey, it's strictly online and you need a credit card to play it because you have to pay a monthly fee and all that. I really wasn't, I was still in high school at the time. I wasn't really too excited about it. I thought it was kind of a weird concept. And I didn't have a credit card at the time. I had a bunch of buddies in high school that were into it, but I was just very, very resistant to the idea of it being strictly online. I was a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I liked how things had been with, it's an offline game, you play it by yourself, or maybe you have a buddy over. Some of the PlayStation ports had it where you could play 2-player, and one buddy would play a couple of characters, you'd play a couple of other characters yourself, like the Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy VI ports. I did really good in college and university, like graduated university with distinction, great accomplishment in my life. But high school, I struggled in high school. Some of it was, just my own lack of maturity, and I had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, so there just really wasn't anything driving me. There were some other issues going on too. Glad that's behind me, but I was at least smart enough back then to say, you know what, no, I can't invest in this, in something like this. Like, I had friends that I'd sit with at lunch and it was all they would talk about, but I was busy with I wanted to, get through high school and get all that finished, so I was trying to, be mindful of how I used my free time and such. Once I got out of high school, it was 2005, I was 19. I had my first real attempt at moving out, moved to a different town. I was living in my buddy's mom's basement with my buddy and the girl I was dating at the time. And again, no real direction, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't end up doing college until 2 years later. We were all throwing resumes out at any place we figured might hire us and just waiting on job calls. And it took me probably a month to get a job call back. So during that month, we played an obnoxious amount of Final Fantasy 11. And looking back, you know, it was fun, but it was also like kind of sad and disgusting. I remember we'd stay up all night playing FF11, like to the point where it's like, hey, you probably need help. And then we'd like sleep most of the day away, which was kind of defeating because we're waiting for job calls, and it's like, well, we might not even hear the phone go off. That was my first exposure to FF11. Had a buddy that got us into the game. My girlfriend at the time and I played it on and off, and I don't know, there was just something about the game. I remember the first time I left it, I was like, you know what, like I liked it for a time, but I'm not really sure if it's something I want to keep doing, not really sure if it's for me. But there was something about this game, the challenge, the brutal challenge. I mean, this game put you in your place, and it put you in your place quickly. But the world, the story, the bit of story that I got exposed to back then, the lore, the people you met along the way, the fact that back in the day when this game was so group focused, you needed people, you needed friends. If you didn't have people in your corner, you were going to have a rough time. So I played the game on and off, 2005 to 2007. 2007, I started 4 years of post-secondary school. And, you know, I was in a link shell, really attached to a lot of the people in the link shell. And, you know, a lot of people that I'm not in touch with anymore, some of which, you know, I wish I could still talk to them, but such is life. People come and go. But when I was in college, like, the game was still very, like, this was 2007. The game was still very group focused and challenging. And I enjoyed that challenge, but I just didn't really have the time necessary to invest into it. Even when I was really invested and busy with school, I was really attached to the people that I played with. Pierce was on fire. And so I would still jump into the game and not necessarily play, but I would just talk to the people. Like that's how, you know, close I was to the people that I played with. I'd be like, hey, I can't really play this month, but, you know, I'll be on the chat and we can chat, and gives me a little break from working on papers and stuff. So throughout college and university, just because there was a point where I was full-time student and working part-time, sometimes full-time hours, depending on if, you know, work needed me for extra hours, getting relevant experience to my major. I didn't really have much time for FF11. I'd come and go. I think the longest I was away from the game was 2, maybe 3 years. And there was just always something that pulled me back. And I was like a lot of people. Like, if you're in any of like the Final Fantasy 11 Facebook groups, you see posts sometimes daily of people like, hey, you know, I played 10 years ago and just got my account reactivated, and I'm coming back, and what's what in the game, what's changed, is there a guide, you know, people will quickly give them the 1 to 119 guide and all that stuff, and it's great to see people coming back, but a lot of people, they come back, it's very nostalgia fueled, they're excited, they OD on the game, like quite literally OD on it. But I was one of those people too, where I was literally like, yeah, I'm coming back and I'm staying this time, and I'm gonna do the things, and I'm gonna see all the story that I never got to see, because I barely scratched the surface on any of the story back in the day. And yeah, I just end up ODing on the game and leaving. Where I finally came back, and I came back to stay, and I've been in the game now I've been subscribed to the game now for about 2.5 years. I take little breaks here and there. I don't cancel my sub, but I just take little breaks here and there. Where I finally got to the point where I've stayed consistently, probably more consistently than I ever have, and I'm starting to see some of that old school story that I never got to do back in the day, is starting this Let's Play series. And for those of you who have been following my channel, thank you so much for your support. For those of you who are just stopping by for the first time, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Now that leads me into talking about how I started my Let's Play series, because a lot of the feelings I have for my Let's Play series and decisions I made that led to me starting that Let's Play series, I feel kind of correlate and tie in with some of the messages in this whole FF11 20th anniversary milestone. So a huge part of why I started the FF11 Let's Play series, and let me tell you, I was hesitant because I remembered how brutally challenging the game was back in the day. I know the game's a lot more accessible and solo friendly. You don't have to be in a group to do everything. You don't have to be in a group to do a lot of things anymore. But honestly, part of the reason that I started a Let's Play is I was scared that the game would eventually die out and shut down, that I'd find out someday, oh, the servers have shut down, and then I'd be like, oh, you know, missed opportunity. I never got to do all these things that I wanted to do, and, you know, just kind of procrastinated getting back into it and all that. A huge motivation for me was I wanted to have an opportunity to document, to make a character brand spanking new, and document the adventures of, you know, this Man of Steel, Mr. Pearso here, so that if the game did shut down, if the servers shut down, I would have at least some form of documentation, videos, tangible memories to fall back on. If I ever got that, oh, you know, I really miss FF11, then I'd at least have something to fall back on. So I thought about it for months, because Final Fantasy XI is such a massive game. It's such a huge accomplishment in the gaming industry. Like Square Enix, all of us adventurers, everybody who supported this game should be so proud. And I wanted to give it the attention and the commitment that it deserves. Not to knock any other content creators, like this isn't meant to be negative at all, but there's a lot of people, like I've tried to follow some other content that other people have made, and because you know, I like to support other content creators as well too. And sometimes I'll crap. Oh wow, I like double whammied myself. Way to go, Pearso. But I've watched other people's stuff, and some people, you know, they'll get a wealth of content up, and it's great, and it's awesome to see their perspective and hear their story about, you know, how FF11 has such a grip on their life like it does on mine. But sometimes you'll get some content creators that'll put stuff up, and they'll be like, you can tell they're like really into it and really enjoying it, at least it seems so. And then suddenly the content just stops and you never hear from them again. And it's like, but you were doing so good. Why? I mean, you know, to be fair, maybe something came up in their lives or whatever. Or maybe they just lost interest, whatever. But again, I'm not criticizing. I'm just, if it sounds like I'm criticizing, that's not my intention. I didn't want to be one of those people where I start putting up videos. Yes, I do have, sometimes I have gaps in when we get content up. I get busy, or there's something, you know, goes wrong on the recorder end of things. Like it happens, and you know, life happens. But I just I didn't want to be one of those people that started something and got it going, and then suddenly I was like, oh, you know what? I turns out I really wasn't interested in this as much as I thought I was. So I really thought about, you know, whether I wanted to do this series or not for quite a while. Wanted to make sure it was something I was ready to commit to. And I'm so glad that I did, because I've had so much fun doing this series, and I've made so many new memories in Final Fantasy XI. Being able to see these stories that I didn't get the chance to do back in my college days, knowing full well, like I'm going through the game at a bit of a slower pace for anybody who's been following it, and I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed going through at my own pace and kind of doing like a stop and smell the roses approach, not rushing. I enjoy it. And not to mention too, anybody who's followed my channel as well, you know, I play with my buddy Marin, who plays the character Amy Chan. Marin and I met in this game back in 2010, 2011, and we got back in touch after being out of touch for 9 years. And we've now been playing this game together now for about 2 years. Marin is a huge presence in my Let's Play series. And I really, if you're watching, buddy, I really appreciate you being here and being a part of this. This series wouldn't be what it is without you. I've had so many laughs with you, so many awesome epic moments. We've had some epic fails too, like how I keep epic failing in this game here. I swear I'll do better when I'm not recording. That's usually how it always is. But yeah, I've been doing this Let's Play now for a little over 2 years. And I mean, it's been hit or miss how consistent we get content out. Just life happens. But I'm so glad that I went ahead and did it. And there's been other people that I've met along the way too. Like I think of our buddy Renoa Hartley. Haven't really been able to play with him too much, but he's appeared in a few of our episodes, and he's been a huge wealth of knowledge for all things endgame and kind of getting me prepped for some of the content that I'll eventually dive into as well. And yeah, just other people I've met along the way as well too. And you know, it's awesome the feedback I've gotten on the series as well too. Like I think of people who have commented saying they like the nostalgic nature of the series. I've had people tell me that, you know, they can't come back to the game right now, or they might not even have any intention of coming back to the game, but they still get that FF11 itch. They like the rest of us do. And they said watching a series like mine, it helps to scratch that itch or go back and enjoy some old content that they did back in the 2000s. I've had some people even tell me, hey, like your series, I watched your series, and eventually I said, you know what, enough of this. I'm coming back and having my own adventures instead of watching somebody else's. To that I say, huzzah, awesome. But bottom line, you know, I've had 3 years to prepare and think of what I want to say in this whole 20th anniversary thing. Right now, there's a lot of testimonials going out, people sharing their memories, people talking about the recent live stream with Square Enix. I know there's some mixed feelings because we Square Enix kind of hyped 20th anniversary up to be this big epic surprise, and we haven't really seen anything epic surprise worthy, so some people are feeling a little let down. But erring on the positive side, I'm just so thankful that the game is still here, that people like me and others like yourselves maybe can come back and revisit this world and get to do this content that maybe we didn't get to do back in the day. Maybe it's been bugging us over the years, like, hey, I never got to finish, you know, Chains of Permathia, or I never, for some people it might be, hey, I never finished that relic weapon I wanted to work on. Heck, I see some people post in the Facebook pages like, hey, level 75 relic weapon that's not even relevant, but I finished it, damn it, because I needed to finish it, and good on you, right? I do miss certain aspects of the old school days of the game, the group emphasis, the challenge, and all that stuff, but when I look at it realistically, I think a lot of us look at it and go, do we really have the time for that now? Some do, some don't. I know I wouldn't. And one thing I loved reading one of the interviews on the Are Vana'diel website, which has been really wonderful to follow, is Square Enix saying, we look forward to the 25th anniversary. We look forward to the 30th anniversary. And it is my hope that this game will continue, that it'll continue to receive content and updates and new story and new things to look forward to. That for me, for someone like me who's trundling along at a much slower pace, just enjoying some of the old stories, it gives me such a sense of wonder and excitement and hope for the future, just knowing that there's all this content to look forward to. And I look forward to sharing that with you folks as we continue through my Let's Play series. But as I close this video, I just want to say again, happy 20th Vana'versary to everybody. Thank you so much for your continued support for our world, the contributions that you all make to it. I've absolutely loved hearing other people's stories, watching them on YouTube. I'm going to definitely be scouring for more of those. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know what your experiences have been. What does the 20th anniversary bring for you? Are you excited? Are you a bit let down by the lack of surprising updates? What are you thinking? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And feel free to share some of your stories as well too. I always love to hear those. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider subscribing. No pressure. Maybe a little pressure. Well, anyways, I just want to wish everybody, once again, a happy 20th anniversary for our beloved Vana'diel. Thank you so much to Square Enix for keeping this game alive, and for the adventurers for especially keeping this game alive. Would not have been possible without all of us supporting it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next time. Here's to another 20 years of Vana'diel. Please, Square Enix.